Will Rogers observed that Democrats could not agree on anything. If they did, they would be Republicans. Democrats refer to this concept today as being a big tent party. But if drunken sailors and nuns are all in the same tent, it is unclear which members represent the core values of the party. Unfortunately, competing for the soul of the Democratic Party seems to be over. Rather than disagreeing about planks in the platform, members are now complicit in its transformation. Over the decades, the liberal faction has succeeded. This was evident when the Democratic National Convention came to Charlotte to show North Carolina how liberal they were. That does not play well in North Carolina, as evidenced by the fact that the Democrats later lost North Carolina, which again turned red, electing Governor Pat McCrory. Contrary to popular belief, this revelation did not occur amid the boos from the convention floor when the DNC tried to force God back into the party platform. The revelation actually occurred gradually for most folks. Some voters switched registration when abortion became part of the Democratic platform. Many ministers have said they could not justify their association with the party after that issue. For others, it was same-sex marriage. The DNC essentially ignored the fact that North Carolina passed the marriage amendment. Robeson County, where we are broadcasting, actually led the state with 86% support. For former NAACP chapter president Reverend C.L. Bryant, it was when he realized that government dependence was a form of mental enslavement, according to speeches he now gives at Tea Party events. This was something he found abhorrent. Reverend Bryant's problems began when he declined to speak at a pro-choice rally, as this Democratic stance conflicted with his personal views as a minister. He now speaks at conservative venues about freedom and has produced a film about his journey. The film features Herman Cain, Thomas Sowell, and North Carolina's first African-American state GOP vice chair, Dr. Timothy Johnson. If Reverend Bryant is right, these men haven't changed. His former party has simply transformed in their view. They just refuse to be complicit in the transformation on principle. Now, certainly the Republican Party is far from perfect, but the difference is Republicans still cling to certain core values. Benjamin Franklin said, "Only a virtuous people are capable of freedom. As nations become corrupt and vicious, they have more need of masters." This concept of limited government manifests destiny and the view that a free people cannot survive in a republic unless they are morally strong are now values unique to Republicans. Rather than rejoicing, Republicans should be saddened by this revelation. It means we are forced to debate foundational issues once thought settled doctrine rather than disagreeing on how to balance the budget. During our nation's founding, it was a popular European concept to view government's role as taking from the haves and giving to the have-nots. Our founding fathers saw the fallacy in this proposition. They recognized people can't delegate to the government the power to do anything they could not lawfully do themselves. You cannot take from one to give to another, regardless of how benevolent the act. An individual would otherwise be charged with theft. Once the power is given to government to take from one to give to another, the principle of equal rights no longer exists. It's the reason communism sounds good but fails. It's that simple. Democrats have led us to believe that the government shutdowns, showdowns, and grandstanding by the president is Republican obstructionism blocking moral obligations over health care. It is far from it. The Democrats have long demonstrated the direction of their moral beliefs, and again, Republicans are now unique concerning such views and have been less effective articulating their stance against rising debt with a complicit media. No, this is about transformation. Democrats have slowly transformed themselves. Like chameleons, they've slowly blended their views and members into a party of that our grandfathers would no longer recognize. They have been successful. And now it is clear Democrats have elected a leader who is helping them transform our nation as well. A leader who clearly embraces the European concept of spreading the wealth in socialistic fashion. Healthcare legislation is simply a key element in this transformation, as communist leader Lenin recognized it is essential to transforming a country into a socialist state. It is simply easier to promote a medical initiative as a humanitarian project. When waivers for any law are given to those in Congress who enact those laws, and subsequent waivers to the law are then given to some and not others, one must seriously consider the motivations of that law. Again, once the government begins taking from one person to give to another, regardless of how benevolent the act, the principle of equal rights no longer exists. Democrats have sold their members on the concept that they're a benevolent party. We need more men like Reverend Bryant and most recently Dr. Ben Carson who are courageous enough to articulate the true nature of the Democrats' goal. a goal that has transformed their own party, and a goal that is focused on transforming our nation as well.